you don't want to use a definition that has the word in it, right? Because that's not going to help you. So Merriam-Webster has those blue clickable words where you can click and it gives you other words to use. Gives you other words to use. Okay, so see, most of you are wrapping up on civilization or civilized. So I'm going to ask for 2 volunteers. You're going to read me your definition of barbarian and civilized, right? And that's just so that we're all on the same page, right? Because we want to use the same definitions so we know what we're looking at, right? So raise your hand. Give me the definition of barbaric. Dame a definition of barbaric.
Possessing or characteristic of a culture level more complex than primitive culture but less sophisticated than advanced civilization.
Okay, so they're a little bit more than primitive, but they're not super advanced, right? Anybody else have anything else that you wrote down for barbaric? For barbaric.
A person from an alien land, culture, or group believed to be inferior, uncivilized, or violent.
Okay, so an outsider, okay? Inferior, I heard inferior there. An outsider, I heard like less than, right? Okay, good, I like it. Raise your hand, give me definition of civilized. Give me definition of civilized. Go for it.
A relatively high level of cultural and technological development.
Okay, so high, I need something high of 2 things. What were the 2 things you said there?
Culture and technological development.
Culture and technology development, right? And we know that under culture could be a lot of stuff, right? Religion, art, gender, music, right? We've talked a lot about what culture means, right? Anything else? Anybody else for definition of civilized? Yes.
I put refinement of thought, manners, or taste.
Okay, so a refinement, something that is not just all over the place, right? Of thought, that there's a thinking process behind it, right? That there's a reasoning to why they do things. They don't do it just cause. Okay, I like those definitions. You will be using those definitions today. Those definitions are your anchor. Those are your claims, right? What you're going to be looking for now is evidence using those definitions, right? Where are we going to look for this evidence? We're going to use tons of primary and secondary documents, all about the Mongols. You have your claim, you have your 2 definitions. You're now going to look for your evidence. Let's go to our first document. Our first document is this map. You can open it up. It is a map by National Geographic. You can open it up now and put it in the center of your group. Open up your map and put it in the center of the group. So this is a map / infographic. So do you notice that on one side has some timelines and pictures with information? And on the other side, it has a map, right? That's why it's both a map and an infographic. So let me explain what you're going to be doing. I gave you 2 color Post-it notes. As a team, you're going to decide one color is barbaric, one color is civilized. I don't care which color you use. You have to remember which color is which, right? You're going to start posting on the poster. So here's an example. I start reading here. Oh, wow, this is an example of civilized. I take my Post-it and I write civilized, right? So I know that this is an example, right? So you literally go through everything that you see, pictures, writing, flop it over to the map, right? Anything that you see, you start Post-it noting it, right? Is this an example of civilized? Is this an example of barbaric? What are you using to decide that? Your definitions. Your definitions, okay? Get to work. Start doing that with your maps. Start doing that with your maps. Start doing it with your maps.
This color's gonna be civilized because I already did. Yeah.
And start posting. Start posting. Make sure you know which color is for which. Right? Doesn't matter. You decide. You need.
Invasion of Europe.
What's a GERD?
Yes. Here. That's the name of their movable tents.
Depends, they do anything better.
Again, you can put it on a picture, you can put it on writing, right? Obviously, write if it's civilized barbarian, right? So you know. Civilized barbarian. If you need more post-its, I have. If you need more post-its, I have. Because you might run out of one color or the other. Right? You might run out of one color or the other.
Barbarian. What's this one barbarian? No, this is civilized. No,
Write down what it is, barbaric or civilized, so you know what color is what. So you know what color is what. Right? Write down the color so you know. Right?
Y lo más oscuro son barbarios.
Sí.
Make sure you're writing on the post-it note, barbaric, civilized, so you know. Right? Right? Make sure. Because you're going to be using this information. So make sure that you're putting barbaric or civilized. Make sure you're putting barbaric or civilized.
What happened? Because it's talking about the women's stuff. Yeah, that would be civilized. Because it's like for gender. Okay. I don't know where it talks about this thing.
Ok, entonces ponelo nuevamente. Ey, ¿me puede pasar un Bueno, ponlo.
The animal is civilizing right here.
Yes.
This.
Okay. So you're going to writing. When you see an example, something that's that means. Based on the definition, right? Like, based on your definition, right? That's why I say, I can't tell you where you're going to put things, right? It's based on your definition. So if your definition says that massive killing of people makes them barbaric, right? Because that's not, then you would put barbaric, right? And I say, it doesn't have to be words. Maybe I look at this, and that's a picture looks of their army, right? As you look about their army, maybe figure out the structure of their army. Did that make them civilized? Did that make them barbaric, right? You know, so it doesn't literally just have to be the writing. It could be also the picture, maybe something that it shows you, right? Remember we talked about these, the yurts, the movable houses, right? And why they were movable, right? Why did they make those houses movable, right? Is that something that makes them civilized? Is that something that makes them barbarian, you know? Like, so I want you to think about not just the writing, you can definitely look at the writing, but look at also their dress, right? Animal usage, right? We talked about what animal did they use a lot? The horses, right? And we talked about why, right? And we talked about how they train, right? The training related to the horses, right? You know, so think about those things when you're trying to put your post-it notes, okay? Of course.
I did it. I did the first one.
Alright, so this is civilized.
I did the first one.
You know, there you go.
Thank you. Ey, pero de estos.
Necesitamos.
So I'm gonna give you guys 5 more minutes, and then I want you to turn the map, right? So you can see the map on the back. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes, and then you're gonna turn it over so you can see the map on the back, right? I'm gonna give you 5 minutes, and then you're gonna turn the map over.
Sí.
We need rubber here for violin. Yeah, you read it. Sorry.
Nigga, move this shit.
Put a beat for barbarian.
Oh my god.
Entonces,
Una más para que se aparezca.
One more.
Okay, everyone, want you to turn the map over. Look at the other side. Look at the other side. Look at the map side. Look at the map side. Turn it over. Turn it over.
okay, okay.
Look at the map side.
You're not supposed to.
Turn it over.
Ah, no, ¿crees? I mean, you're... Okay, so entonces lo que
Look at the map side.
You're not the main character. Watch out. Okay, let's see.
Turn it over. Look at the map side. Do the same thing. Use your post-it notes. Look at the readings. Look at all the different maps that you see there. Look at the little biographies. Look at the little biographies. Look at the little biographies. More? Of which one? Well, I don't know which one.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing on the
So look at your maps. Look at the little biographies that are there. Right?
You can just tell by the connotation. Yeah.
There you go. Which is fine. I mean, we're gonna talk about that, right? You know, think about perspective, right? So this is National Geographic. Would you expect them to pick a side? No, right? You would hope that they are neutral, right? You know, so it's funny that you bring that up, right? That a lot of it just seems like informational type. Here, have information, right? Don't decide, right? And I think that's part of what we're talking about, right? The perspective of scholarly things like this should not be taken. Like Marco Polo's gonna pick a side when it comes to the Muslims, right? We know relationship, right? But a news magazine should not be telling me what to think, right? They should just be giving me information, and then we make a decision, right? So I think that that's important. That's good that you realize that, right? You know that.
Or like climax. That's nice. That's barbaric.
Why, bro?
Because the students were right.
Think about it, I mean, but like, why do you mind that? What do you
Make sure you're looking at the little biographies, right? Make sure you're looking at the little maps, right?
That one's similar. Yeah, it's about transporting rice. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, what do you think that one is? Well, it's part of their culture, they improve and then.
Do not disrespect.
Two more minutes? Two more minutes?
That's why he left.
Oh my god, turn around.
I think it's mostly good, so I'm just gonna put that so it's barbaric.
Okay, guys, so let's stop a moment. Let's stop a moment. So, the whole idea of this part was to do a practice, right? Because ultimately, what we really want to look at are primary documents, right? Documents of the time of the Mongols, but we wanted to do a little bit of that practice of starting to look at it, right? And I want to bring up something that this group noticed, which I think was interesting because I think it's something that you need to keep in mind, right? We kept saying point of view or perspective, right? I said that at the beginning, right? And I told you, and on purpose I told you this, that this map comes from National Geographic, the magazine, right? And there was a reason why I told you that, right? So the information presented is presented by this educational magazine, right? So my question to you is this: do you expect an educational magazine to take one position or the other? Would you expect that from an educational magazine?
No.
No. Okay, I would agree, right? So what you would hope is that an educational magazine or a scholarly article would present both sides, right? If you notice, most of you put both colors, right, on the actual map, right? And I was walking over this group and said, wow, but some of this just sounds neutral, like they're just saying stuff, right? This is what they did, this is what they did, this is what they did, right? I think that's a perfect example of point of view, right? That we don't expect to read National Geographic and by the end, they're like, oh my God, I believe what they say, right? What we expect National Geographic to do is provide us facts and information for us to make our own decision, right? And this is a perfect example of that point of view perspective, right? That this is something that is supposed to be neutral, so you hope that both colors are there, right? That you have both colors there, and if you look at all of your maps, all of you have both colors, right? All of you put both colors, because there's examples of both, right? So, what you're gonna do now is that on your table, I placed some documents. There's enough documents for all of you, one per person, right? All these documents are different. Some are maps, some are paintings, some are pages from a book, some are a letter that someone wrote, right? Everyone's gonna get one. What you're gonna do is exactly what you just did. But instead of using the post-it notes, you're gonna use highlighters, right? And you're gonna find the evidence. Now I'm gonna tell you this right now, and here's your hint. Point of view is super duper important. Here, one of the first things I would look at is every document says source. Tells you what it is. Because if it is a letter from Marco Polo versus an attack journal from the Chinese, that point of view is going to be dramatically different. That source, super duper important, right? Looking at what that source is. So I would start there. So I want you to circle, underline, highlight, do the same thing you just did on your maps. Do them here. Sharing is caring. Help each other out, right? Look at each other's documents. Because all 6 or 7, because I have a group of 7, all 6 or 7 documents need to be done, right? So the goal is to work together to get it done, right? To see what am I highlighting, right? Practice the skill we just did. Before you start, I put this up here as a guidance for you, right? What should I be looking for? You notice I used 2 colors, right? You know why? Evidence. Your claim is the definition. The evidence is what you're highlighting, right? C, that's your source, right? And D is your connection. Connect the definition to your document, right? I just put that there as a guide. It's what I just explained, right? So that you know what you're doing with your documents, right? Get to work. Dale. Dale. So you guys want to do all 6 or 7 documents. Make sure that you are helping each other out. Make sure you're looking at it. Decide. If you are using colors, again, you need to know what color means what, right? I would write it down so you know what color means what, right? If you don't have colors, you can like underline and square, or like do something different to the document. If you are using different colors, make sure you know what color is what, right? If you don't want to use different colors, do like square and triangle, whatever, however you want.
That's more I've been calling
Remember, the goal is that all your documents have to be done, right? Use your definitions. Use your definitions. Those are your claims.
This is the same thing as that, but we gotta use the highlighter.
Yeah.
I said forget it. You like it?
Use your definitions. Remember, use them as your claim.
It may be. Hey, this may be barbarian. You gonna laugh. All right. So this card will be what? Oh, barbarian. Barbarian. Yeah. And this one is like silly. You got mine over there, mobile. Yeah. You need it? Yeah, I need it. I appreciate it.
Do not forget to look at the source, right? Who's writing this, right? Because that's important. Where is this coming from? Right? Is it the Mongols writing it? Is it the Chinese? Is it a historian like me? Right? Like, who's writing the document? Right? Who's writing the document?
Oh, this is good. Hey, no me quieres. Sí, like how everything. I think
Okay, no, so this is a book. The title of the book is called From Genghis to Buddha, right? Like those are my book entries, right? Like I decided to write the book.
I got it right now.
Yeah. So it's a book. So it's like someone like me writing a book. I want to write about the Mongols, right? So I'm gonna write about from Ganges to Kublai, like the two big Khans.
Okay, so mine was pretty much neutral in like the second paragraph, but it does seem very civilized. It's like trade, taxes, the era of exploration. The only barbaric part is like just it was disintegrated and it led to the roots becoming insecure, which is what led to the exploration.
so. Yeah. Is it right, bro? Can you help me out?
Yeah, I don't know why.
How you know though? Show me
Like,
like,
right? Like,
huh?
make the connection to the definition. Right? You know, that's why the definition is there. So I'll give an example. Let's say that civilized says that all civilized people have to wear hats. Right? Let's say the definition said that. And in my document, it talks about all the different hats the Mongols wear, right? So based on the definition, are they civilized? Yes, because the definition says all civilized people wear hats, right? That's how you're using the definition, right? The definition is, okay, so I highlighted this. What does that prove using the definition, right? That's why I say that your definition is so important, because that's the claim. That's the claim. The evidence is just the backup. That's what you're looking for, okay? Huh?
Yeah, so far. Yeah, and then
So very important question that was asked. Listen, highlighting is not enough. I don't know why you highlighted it, right? Like, remember, the whole point is the definition is your claim, right? So if you highlighted something pink because it makes it barbaric, even if it's on the side, how does that prove that, right? It doesn't have to be this big essay, but how does it prove it, right? Like, why did you highlight it, right? Like, why was that so important that you highlighted it compared to the definition, right? It's not just highlighting, because if someone else sees your paper, and they will, if someone else sees your paper, why are you highlighting, right? Why are you highlighting? So I would even put it right next to the highlight, right? So that they know the why. So they can get into your thought process in your brain of why. Why are you highlighting?
Do you have a pencil?
You got a pen right here. It doesn't have.
So I'm gonna give you guys 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes.
I bet you did.
This is the time to look around your group, make sure everyone's on pace. Make sure everyone's on pace. Make sure everyone's on pace.
So,
This is a good check-in time. Yes.
I think I know.
So it's actually friend versus foe.
Did I ask?
Yo, Gio.
Again, this is a good check-in time. Check in with your group. Make sure everyone's on pace to finish. Make sure everyone's on pace to finish. Okay? Make sure everyone's on pace to finish.
It's more civilized. Yeah.
¿Cuál es para civil? Sí, bueno, sí, ajá.
Alright, so yours is barbarian. Mine is neutral. What's yours?
Full civilized.
You start
Civilized.
How you doing this one?
So, if I can have everyone's attention, this is what's gonna happen. Listen carefully, okay? This is what's gonna happen now with your documents. Remember, I introduced you to this line right here, right? And I said that this line is gonna help us understand this idea of how barbaric were they, right? On a scale, right? So what's gonna happen? I'm gonna call you up by group. You're gonna come, I'm gonna give you a piece of tape. You're gonna tape your documents. Now it's very easy. If it's 100% barbaric, you know where it goes. If it's 100% civilized, you know where it goes. If you have both, you know where it goes, right? So I should be able to visually see once everyone's done where we're at, right? Because it's very easy to know where you're putting it, right? Was it all barbaric? Was it all civilized? Or was it a little bit of both, right? So, here we go. Group 1, come on up. Come on up. Okay? There you go. Group 2. This group right here.
Other black names. There's not a lot of black names.